Joined by, of course, Jack Oliver from Classic Hits KEY. Rick Springfield joins us on the Twin Peaks Scenic Views Hotline tomorrow night. He's at the First Council Casino down in Newkirk, Oklahoma. Rick, thanks for taking some time out of your day to be on with yours truly, Jeff Lutz, and Jack Oliver.
How are you guys?
We're doing well. You're here. You are still going strong. We've had so many guys like you on our show that just continue to do their thing. Talk about life as Rick Springfield now in 2020.
It's hectic, which is great. I mean, I love to work. We're doing a lot of shows, and you know, I'm still working on acting stuff, and I have a new novel coming out, and writing new songs for a new album, and basically, you know, I love what I do, so I keep doing it until God says stop.
How do you approach a creative situation at like Bob said in 2020? Are you kind of going back to the well of things that have worked for you before? Do you try to expand and try new things as much as possible? What is your creative process looking like now?
Well, musically, it's I'm doing absolutely what I want to do. I don't, you know, I put out a couple of really great pop rock albums over the last couple of years, and then the last album I did was a blues-based blues rock album about God, sex, and the devil. And so the next one is going to be different again. So I'm basically, you know, I'm enjoying recording, and there's no real kind of like new rock radio anymore. I mean, you know, there's the oldies rock stations that they still play our music, thank God, but there's no more top 40 rock and roll. So we rockers still, you know, want to write new stuff. So we do and put it out, and whoever picks it up, and who doesn't. So it's just, I mean, I got into it because I love it. So that's the reason I'm still doing it.
Well, Rick, you started very young, needless to say, learning to play the guitar. What got you interested in playing the guitar? You grew up in Australia and then moved to England early. Was it some of the influences that you heard on the radio, like in Australia when you were young, or over in England?
No, it was in England. I moved over there when I was 10 and turned 13 over there. So it was, you know, puberty was hitting, and girls suddenly were on the radar, and I was hearing this great music on the radio, and it was the first. You know, if you talk to anybody like Clapton or Jimmy Page or Jeff Beck or any of those guys, they will cite this guy, Hank Marvin, as one of their initial influences, because he was the first English guitar god in the 50s. His name was Hank B. Marvin, and he was in a band called the Shadows, and he had a first red Fender in Europe, and he was king, and he inspired all of us around that age, that are around that age now.
We're talking with Rick Springfield. He will be at the First Council Casino tomorrow night down in Newkirk, Oklahoma. This summer touring with Chicago. That tour will show up in Kansas City at the Starlight Amphitheater on June 24th. And then you've got a Rick Springfield and Friends fan getaway coming up May 14th to 18th at the Hard Rock Hotel Resort in Cancun with Greg Kinn and Tommy Tutone. Anyone interested in that can go to rickspringfield.rosetours.com. So, like you said, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm Australian, so these fires are killing us, and we're doing everything we can to raise money, as everybody is with a heart. And actually, Sugar Ray's on the show tomorrow, I understand, right? And he,
right.
Richard Marks and I have done a thing on our Instagrams and on Twitter where we, you know, asked for donations to be sent to Red Cross in Australia. And we did a song, and anyone who donates $500 or more will send them this song directly to them. And actually, Sugar Ray did, so we all have a song.
Can you kind of put those fires in perspective? We obviously have them here. You know all about that in California and Colorado and other places. But the situation in Australia seems even more devastating than what we've experienced in the United States.
It's insane. I have a good friend who's basically he's there now, and he says he can't go out without a mask in Melbourne or Sydney. And 1 billion animals have died from the fire, 1 billion, and there are species that have been completely wiped out.
And that's one of the things you put on your website, I think, also, where you can donate to wildlife/rescue.org.
Yeah, they're hands-on rescuing in the bush, trying to rescue the koalas and all the animals.
And I tell you that, needless to say, it helps to know of organizations where you can send money to help out that actually goes to that organizations. I've seen on the news, and I'm just totally amazed at how whether it's the koalas, the kangaroos, where they're coming up to, the human people, where they're feeding them, giving them water, and it's totally amazing to watch.
It's so brutal, and it's because the whole point. I mean, they've arrested 24 people who started some of the fires, but this is normal fire. But the thing is, they haven't been back burning now because the ecologists will say, "Oh, you can't do that. You're going to hurt animals." And what happens is it all blows up into an atomic bomb, and there's all this fire fodder there that just explodes when a fire hits because they haven't backburned and haven't cleaned it out. And that's part of the reason that this is so gigantic and so all-encompassing. And they're seeing smog down from the fires in Argentina.
Rick Springfield with us on tour, takes him to tomorrow night to First Council Casino in Newkirk. I wanted to take you back to 1981. That seemed to be a really pivotal year for you. You were on General Hospital. Certainly everybody remembers that, your performance as Dr. Noah Drake. Your song "Jesse's Girl" shot to #1 in the Billboard charts, but it's also the year your father died. What are your recollections and reflections on the year 1981? Because so many things happened in your life in that year.
Yeah, I guess I learned the meaning of yin yang in 1980.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad died, and it was. Still affects me. It was a terrible year.
Well, I apologize for even bringing that up, Rick.
No, it's okay. It's life.
Take us back to Dr. Noah Drake and General Hospital, which was...
That guy will never die. Jesus.
Do you get tired of talking about it, or do you look back with fond...
Yeah, I look back at it kind of fondly. I mean, it was only on there for 18 months, but it was when the show was like the biggest show in the country, and I was just very fortunate to have walked on it at the right time, and it was definitely part of the fuel for the initial rocket ride. Absolutely, I don't deny that at all. But I don't. I mean, I have no. I have no resentment for it at all. I was there, and I admit it, and I'm guilty.
Well, Rick, you, besides doing music early, then you started doing lots of televisions. You do lots of movies, and we always talk about the hardest working man in show business. It seems like you just keep going one to another, then back to music, some other things. I saw you on Broadway back in, I think it was 1999, you and Gloria Gaynor doing Smokey Joe's Cafe. And I thought it was amazing because the show made up mainly of those songs from the 50s and the doo-wop era, but you still were able to do Jesse's Girl. She was still doing I Will Survive, but you fit it into the show, and it just seemed seamless, and it worked. And do you like doing Broadway as much, or movies, TV?
Yeah, that was the most nervous I've ever been on stage. With the theater was held 400 people. It was like, not a big crowd by any stretch of imagination, but I was so nervous because it was Broadway. And I did spend Harlem, and there was a part where I pick up an acoustic guitar and I play a solo, right? And they had a classical guitar which doesn't have the neck dots on it, because musicians need to know where our fingers are supposed to go. And so I drew some dots on the top of the neck with a felt tip pen. And when I picked up the guitar in the middle of the first show, one of the stage hands had cleaned them all off. I go, oh my God! So I just shut my eyes and hope for the best.
And that's what I actually enjoyed about it. The theater, 400 people. There was not a bad seat in the house, and it was a great show and a lot of fun. But it was good to see you there.
Yeah, the Broadway theaters are awesome. I mean, I'd do it again. It's a real time commitment. I mean, I was like 3 months in New York, New York, at extra months away from home is a lot for me. I was there when I did the movie with Meryl Streep, Ricky and the Flash. I was there for another 2 months. And New York it's a great. I love the city, so it's easy to be. But I just don't. At this point, I'm a bit of a homebody. You know, I like to be home too. Like to touch base.
Rick, I wanted to ask you about Ricky and the Flash, too, because I saw that relatively recently. I think I was interested in it because Joe Vitale was in it, the old Joe Walsh drummer.
Awesome guy. Yeah, I'm still in touch with Joe. He's amazing.
Yeah, and just making a movie with Meryl Streep about music, I know it wasn't like this critical, huge success, but I imagine that had to be a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, it was a blast. I mean, all the guys, were amazing players. There was Rick Rosas from Neil Young and Bernie Worrell from Talking Heads and Funkadelic, and Joe, who's been with Walsh, and never included everybody. Really, I mean, and then there was a great band. And Meryl was hilarious. She said, "This is the most fun I've ever had on the movie set." Because when we break, it was all live stuff. I mean, we all played and sang live, which is why they wanted an actor who could really play the guitar and not just kind of fake it. Because Jonathan Demme, the director, wanted it all done live. So we were all plugged in, and when we stopped for a break, we just launch into "You Really Got Me" or a Rocky Mountain Way or something. And Meryl was loving it.
Tremendous. Well, Rick, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on our show. Again, you'll be at the First Council Casino, Newkirk, Oklahoma, tomorrow night with Sugar Ray. I'm sure a lot of people from Wichita will be down to see you. And then later in the summer, you're touring with Chicago. That tour takes you to the Starlight Amphitheater on June 24th. Thanks, Rick, very much.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.